We'd love to see you there. Michael Dean Rogers, I asked him if he wanted me to do a formal introduction, and he says this is about philosophy, not him. And so I'm just going to say, welcome, Michael.
Well, I'm going to start with a song, actually, not philosophy. And this is a continuation of a prayer that I wrote in song. It's called I Trust You Can. And I'm going to get moving because I have a lot to say tonight. Take this day and fill it with wonder. Be a shelter through the night. Mold my life to serve your purpose. I trust you can. I'm in your hand. Take this world of fear and worry, fill it with your peace and grace. Give us hope, strength, and courage. I trust you can. I'm in your hand. Life can be hard and overwhelming, and we can feel betrayed. When I seek your heart, your truth, your spirit, I will not stray. For this I pray. Take this heart and fill it with mercy. Guide my thoughts all to your plan. Shine your light of love and understanding. I trust you can. I'm in your hand. I trust you can. Actually, it's kind of warm in here, so I'm going to take this jacket off. So I'm going to try to shine my light of love and understanding here tonight. First, I want to thank Deborah for having me here. I'm grateful, blessed, and honored to be here, and appreciate you and SLC for the opportunity to share my message. And I want to thank all of you for being here tonight, too. I think you will find this a memorable evening of philosophy, even though it may blow your minds. But in a good way, in a good way. I've spent my entire life studying philosophy, science, and religion in the quest for truth. I have degrees, but philosophy was a passion long before I entered college. But I will spare you my personal story because this is about philosophy, as Deborah said, not me. With philosophy, it doesn't really matter much who someone is or how much authority they have. It's if they make sense or not. But if I did go into my history, you'd all be very impressed. I'll be telling you an incredible story this evening that begins at the dawn of humanity. But this is not just a story about our past. It is still unfolding with vital implications to our individual lives and the future of humanity. It's the story of the quest for truth, why it has evaded us for so long, and why I believe it has finally been found. Some question whether objective truth even exists. After all, human history shows that all truths have changed over time, whether it's belief in a flat earth, the law of gravity, or the healthy foods we should eat. In fact, it seems today our truths are more ephemeral than ever. Tonight, I hope to show you that truth is real and achievable. It's been missed because it just doesn't look like we expect it to. I've been advised to know my audience and tailor the message to them. We here at SLC and New Thought in general are comfortable with God, Spirit, and the divine. And some of what I might say may seem overly broad and that it doesn't seem to apply to you. But my message is aimed at all of humanity. When I use the words we and us, I'm speaking of human beings in general. Of course, you may find that it applies to you because, well, we're all human beings. We humans are amazing beings. We have made great works from the pyramids of Egypt to landing on the moon. Technology is transforming life in wondrous and dangerous ways. We have created beautiful art, poetry, and music, raised our consciousness of a greater universe, cured diseases, and vastly improved how we live. We have created philosophy and science to try to understand it all. All in all, we've done pretty well in the time that we've been on this planet. We express an angelic quality that manifests itself broadly in our lives. We are capable of great acts of kindness, compassion, and love, serving selflessly in pursuit of what is right, good, and true. I see these tendencies everywhere in people who want to make a better world for themselves, each other, and the planet. I see the angels of our better nature right here at SLC and in this room. We should be proud of the goodness within us in much of what we've done. That's the good news. The bad news is that we have also treated each other terribly, expressing hate, intolerance, cruelty, and many other scourges of humanity. We war against each other for money, geography, power, and belief, individually and collectively. We can dominate one another, force our way of life, and even our beliefs and religions on those who cannot defend themselves. We can be downright mean. It seems there are also demons within. The evil we have done in the past continues to haunt us, and it's obvious to all that we have yet to put these terrible things behind us. The religious madness happening in the Middle East and around the world is ample evidence of that. Muslims killing Christians, Buddhists killing Muslims. The shameful list goes on. But that just scratches the surface of the inhumanities we endure. We should be ashamed of the way that we treat one another. We are creatures of light and darkness, and though we have tried, we can't seem to shake the darkness. The question is that even possible? Maybe the demon is encoded in our DNA, and we are doomed to suffer such indignities. Or could the demon be the result of something that we can change to unleash the angels of our better nature? I have come to realize that the vast majority of our suffering, incoherency, and cruelty is not inherent to what we are. We can change to free the angels within. We can create a better life for ourselves and our children. I believe that our better nature has been corrupted, not by the DNA hardware of the body, but by the software of the mind. There is nothing intrinsically wrong with us. I believe long ago, Our ancestors made a fatal error in judgment that has had devastating consequences ever since. Nothing has been left untouched. We have suffered intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, and pragmatically in our daily lives. It has all been caused by a simple mistake in how we see the universe. Could a simple mistake cause so much havoc? Humanity has made many such errors that kept us from the truth. Not so long ago, we believed the earth was flat. This false belief caused us to sail close to shore for fear of falling off the world. A mistaken perception and belief produced an emotional response of fear, which kept us from a greater world waiting just over the horizon. We were diminished and impoverished by a mistaken belief. The Buddha says that what you believe, you become. A belief in a flat earth shows this is true regardless if your thoughts are correct or not. True belief brings authenticity and aligns us with the universe as it is. Truth is a bit like an accurate mental map that we use to navigate life. Our current map of reality is corrupted by what I call the error, and it has led us astray. For all its sophistication and power, the modern world appears increasingly lost, broken, and out of control. We see this lostness in an epidemic of youth suicide, increasingly frequent mass shootings, and religious extremists and ideologues intolerant of all others. Our youth struggle with a lack of values and meaning, too easily swayed by virulent ideologies that promise them purpose in waging holy war. The really, really good news is that recognizing the cause of a problem is the most important step to solving it. So, what is this error? How and why has it affected us so negatively, and what can we do about it? Humanity's definition of truth, regardless of what language, culture, time, or place, contains an error that has caused immense harm. But what is truth? The definition of truth is the standard by which we judge experience. How we define truth will affect what we hold to be true. If the definition of truth is changed, then what it accepts as true could also change. This makes truth the most important word we use, even more than love and God. The meaning of truth sits at the base of all that we hold true, of all our beliefs. If our truth holds that only the material is real, life becomes dust in the wind and our lives are ultimately pointless. If we believe we are all aspects of God, we are illuminated beings expressing a purpose greater than ourselves, elevated to a higher reality. The meaning of truth determines that which is true or false, real or illusion, and right or wrong. If we align our thoughts with the way things actually are, we engage with life authentically with a good map. If we align our thoughts with illusion or delusion, we are alienated from the universe with an inaccurate map that could take us anywhere, including disaster. Real truth is to see the universe as it is, not as we mistake or want it to be. Long ago, our ancestors looked up into the sky and saw the regular movement of the stars, and they believed them to be timeless. The sun rose and set with absolute predictability. They thought they observed eternal perfection in the sky, and why not? This was entirely reasonable, as the entire life of our species has existed within this lifespan of the sun. So how could they know any different? They didn't have telescopes. They believed their knowledge shared this perfection that they observed in the stars, eternally true in the past, present, and the future. This led our ancestors to accept eternal knowledge as their truth. They became intellectually and emotionally certain they knew the future. Certainty became the gold standard of truth, and we can imagine nothing better. But they are wrong. We now know that nothing we observe in this universe lasts forever. In time, the stars will change. Someday, the sun will expire. The sun will not always rise and fall. Our lives are simply too short to recognize the changing nature of the universe. Nothing lasts forever. When seeking final answers about reality, certainty has proved a fruitless quest. The best and brightest philosophers and scientists have made great efforts, but to no avail. Over time, every one of our beliefs have been overturned, and the process continues today. There is always something that cannot be explained or contradicts our experience. There's always a hole that cannot be filled. As a philosopher, I came to realize that within this universe, the only certainty is uncertainty. Of course, I can't be sure about that. Our ancestors set the bar on truth higher than it was possible to reach. We cannot understand the universe with certainty because certainty is an illusion. It does not exist. The error was believing that certainty was even possible. More generally, the error was thinking that perfection in any form was possible. Perfect knowledge is like a perfect circle. We can understand what a perfect circle is, define it in the mind, and it seems they appear in the universe to the naked eye. But once you zoom in on anything circular, no matter how perfect it appears, we see it as made of bumpy little atoms. In this universe, perfect circles do not exist anywhere but in the mind. Perfect knowledge is like that. We can understand what it is. We can love and desire it above all else. We can make it our truth. But that doesn't make it real. Certain truth just appears real due to the short time we exist on this plane. We seek a false truth and do not know it. The error has led us down a trail of tears, the root cause of a cascade of negative consequences. It has confounded the mind by putting truth out of reach and tilted the emotional playing field of our thoughts with a bias towards fear and negative emotions. It didn't make our good emotions impossible, just much harder to achieve and sustain. The error is at the root cause of many of our most troubling problems. But as I go through these troubles, realize each is a ray of hope. If there are wounds caused by the error, then we can correct it, be healed, and level the playing field of the heart. This is how it happened. The error began its destruction with our greatest fear. Believing certainty real made it something good, loved, and desired above all else. But when we made certainty a good to be loved, it made its opposite, uncertainty, something bad to be feared. Believing certainty real led us to fear the unknown. The error caused the unknown, the only thing that we truly experience in life, to become a negative. As we fear the unknown, and all of life's tomorrows are uncertain, we transferred our fear of the unknown to life itself. Worshipping certainty is the root cause of humanity's alienation from life. The fear of the unknown forced us into a defensive posture to the universe. Only human beings can let the fear of life overwhelm the love of life. Only people commit suicide, the epitome of alienation. Life is risky. It's not safe. The error caused us to worry too much, stressed out with each chance we take. To avoid anxiety and worry, we set self-imposed limitations to keep us in our comfort zone, to stay safe in the box. The love of certainty keeps us from daring to express who we really are. The error keeps us from shining our light fully in the world. When we thought perfection real, we became perfectionists. We demanded perfection from ourselves and each other, demonizing one another as broken and defective. Nobody and nothing ever measures up. from the shape of our bodies to the actions we take. We became forever unsatisfied with life as it is, limited and imperfect. The grass is always greener on the other side, no matter how green the grass on this side may be, because it's not perfect. Some exploit the error's fear and dissatisfaction mercilessly, selling products to correct our imperfections. We fall for this despite the fact that we're all beautiful, amazing miracles, as we are. The error let the perfect stand in the way of the good. The universe expresses itself in shades of probability, but the error polarized all experience into absolute black and white, true and false, right and wrong, and good and bad. Polarization meant that if we think ourselves right, all others who disagree with us must be wrong, the bastards. Truth and reality lost all shades of gray and the nuance that fully described our experience. Absolute truth made it difficult to see that we all may have a piece of the truth. There's good and bad in everything. Polarization also biased us to authority. This took two forms, depending on whether we believed we had this absolute truth or not. If we believed we did, we became the authority, arrogant, intolerant, and demanding of others to do our will for their own good. If uncertain, we became timid and easily manipulated by those who claimed the truth. Besides, accepting orders avoids the work and doubt of thinking for ourselves. The error allowed righteous and intolerant authority to enlist the lost in their crimes against humanity, often in the name of God or country. Some of humanity's worst atrocities were committed in the name of truth. Religion itself is a symptom of the error. Religion exemplifies righteousness and intolerance. Only the religious claim eternal truth by faith in the prophet's word of God. Their word of God is set in stone, but very often the prophet's words contradict one another, and we know the harm that that has caused. Religion cannot change or compromise and remain what it is. How many tears have been shed over religion? How many lives lost? How much treasure squandered? If people understood that such truth just does not exist and cannot exist, religion itself would not exist. Religion would yield to spirituality that relies on personal experience and shared wisdom, not the absolute authority of a prophet. Spiritual truths adapt to new experience, always open to further revelation. We should take wisdom from these ancient religious traditions, but not turn away from following our own heart to God. It is time to let go of the belief in the prophet and follow our own spiritual path. Hastening this change is an important part of my mission. It's time to quit outsourcing our belief to others and think for ourselves. We need not be religious to believe in God. As we at SLC know, there are many paths to the one God. It is time to trust the God within. But once more, the error makes that harder than it should be. The error has alienated us from the divine and our own spirituality. Spirit is immaterial, cannot be touched or seen by the eye, and it was cast out by empirical science. With science, if you can't measure something, you can't prove it to be real. It's not real. The love of certainty has biased us to materialism and made us blind to deeper spiritual truths we need to understand the universe. Believing in God became irrational and was pushed into faith. The error makes it hard to believe in God. In an increasingly secular world, I believe this is one reason people are abandoning churches and religions. When certainty became good, we became shamed by its absence, though we were all born totally ignorant. Why do we put on airs of knowing Why do we hesitate to raise our hands and ask a question? We hide our uncertainty, imperfections, and fear. Shame forced us into a bubble of dishonesty, and in the process, we live shallower, less passionate lives and miss our true greatness. How can one learn from others unless we admit what we don't know? How can one relate to another if we hold up masks, never revealing the real person hidden behind? The air has left us shamed, isolated, and unconnected from ourselves and each other. Dishonesty damages honor and integrity with ourselves and in the eyes of others. Worse, when we hide our ignorance, we lose the opportunity to gain a greater understanding of life. Since final truth is not possible, our ideas war for belief without the certainty we demand to settle the matter. When a religion says the universe is 6,000 years old and science says 14 billion years old, our thoughts cannot be reconciled. We become intellectually incoherent, our beliefs lacking harmony. Peace of mind is lost when ideas war for belief. Perhaps this is why discussing religion is all but taboo in public discourse today. It makes people uncomfortable. Uncertainty makes people uncomfortable. It is important to realize that uncertainty is an intellectual experience caused by the inability to prove something with absolute finality. Though we cannot be certain, we need not be in doubt. Doubt, like its opposite faith, is not intellectual, but emotional. Though I am uncertain of God's existence, I'm not certain. I have no doubt. She is real. I believe in God, just as I do with many things I can't prove, including my own philosophy. Our emotions are the best of us, the flowering of our humanity. But without peace of mind, our hearts are filled with mental turmoil and angst, leaving little emotional space for love to flourish. The air squanders the gift of our beautiful hearts. We need love and peace within if we are to find love that can bind us together. In an age where the capacity to destroy the planet with weapons of mass destruction increases every day, the need for peace has become critically important. Clearly, we lack the maturity to put these terrible weapons down. And without peace, we might just blow this world sky high. But peace will not come through top-down societal change. It must come from the bottom up, one person at a time. And if that happens, a glorious future awaits us. There will be no need to spend the wealth of our children protecting us from ourselves. We could redirect our treasure to exploring new vistas, ending poverty, and countless other changes that will transform society for all people. The future would be so bright, shades wouldn't do. We'd need welding goggles. This is not as difficult as it sounds. Despite our fear of the unknown, it cannot completely obscure obscure uncertainty's fundamental goodness in our lives. We are attracted by mystery and wonder, and taking a chance with the roll of the dice or that first kiss. We love the thrill found in exploration, adventure, and a new knowledge. Uncertainty is not bad. It's not the evil we have made it. It is the greatest good, the very wellspring of life. Our most treasured words are rooted in uncertainty, like freedom, faith, trust, choice, and many more. If you knew God existed, would you need faith? If you could know your future, would you be free? If you lock someone up, would you need to trust them not to leave? It's contingent on not knowing. The truth about truth holds that the unknown is not to be feared, but celebrated. The future is unknown, and bad, scary things do lurk there. But good things lurk there too. The future is the source of all new experience. We should fear the bad things that come from the dark, but we should not fear the dark itself. If we avoid uncertainty, we limit both the bad and the good and throw the baby out with the bathwater. What point to a game if you know the outcome? The first time is almost always the best, whether a movie, book, or trip to another land. First love is a magical time, passionate, thrilling, and consuming in its goodness. We think we love certainty and seek security, but that ultimately leads to boredom. If you want security where no uncertainty can bother you, go to prison or a casket. Uncertainty is the essence and zest of life, and we have demonized it. We have misconceived the universe 180 degrees from the truth. The error has caused a terrible cascade of intellectual, emotional, spiritual, and practical consequences. None of this misery is necessary. It is time to correct the error and change the bias of our thoughts from fear to love. It is time to assume our true and better angelic nature. It is time for real truth to emerge. So, what is real truth? No one can be certain of what they know, but we can all be honest. Truth is rooted in honesty. Honesty leads us into authenticity. It has nothing to prove, no truth to maintain. Honesty to experience allows for no confirmation bias. Honesty lowers the masks we hold up to one another to reveal what we really think. Honesty lets us compare our thoughts without the need to insist that we are 100% right and others are wrong. It is time to see the universe what it is, indeterminate and alive with change. Honesty is not being certain of what we see. It is simply telling our experience as we see it. Honesty avoids the problem of forcing experience to conform to our beliefs, of fooling ourselves to maintain our truth. Honesty conforms our ideas to the way things are. Truth is not a destination of certainty. It is a journey of honesty. Honesty naturally leads to authenticity. Honesty opens minds. It opens hearts. Honesty heals. Honesty restores honor and integrity. Honesty can bring us together and save the future for our children and ourselves. Holding on to the illusion of perfection is not worth the awful price we pay. Besides, it was never true. It was never true. Honesty without certainty is a new standard of truth. Honest truth lowers the bar from certainty, but that puts it within reach. The truth is, we can do no better. We can ask the big questions and tackle old problems again and reach honest answers we can believe. It is said that truth will set you free. Truth above all else is sincere honesty. It is honesty that sets us free. The truth about truth is about far more than truth. It is a complete philosophy that tackles the big questions of life and the universe. It asks what possible reason could explain a universe that is forever beyond our final understanding. How did all this come to be? What purpose could the universe serve? What is the purpose of life, or is there one at all? Fortunately for you, my time is running out. Besides, I've got to leave something for the book, don't I? But let me say, the truth about truth supports the beliefs that many have embraced on their spiritual journeys. It holds God is real. We are spiritual beings, have a material experience. Life has God within. We are all one. As imperfect beings, forgiveness of others and ourselves is essential to happiness, no matter what we believe. Life has a good and noble purpose that we can grasp and participating in. The truth about truth provides new and compelling philosophical reasons in support of these abiding spiritual principles. The Truth About Truth gives practical steps you can use to put this knowledge to work with a more expansive understanding of the universe, greater emotional peace and happiness, a deeper spiritual connection to God, and practical advantages in every choice you make in life, whatever calls you. Before a truth can settle in the heart, it must be thought through in the head. But it is only when we are convinced to believe that ideas come to rest in the heart and the magic happens. As Jesus said, belief can move mountains. If you truly believe in your heart, miracles happen. We can end the trail of tears. It is time to stop treating ourselves and one another so poorly and bring in a new age of harmony within and between people. There is nothing inherently wrong with us that we can't fix. It's time to see the universe as it is, imperfect and uncertain, and relate to it honestly. It's time to change the fear of the unknown into anticipation and hope for the future. It is time to end religion as we know it and enter a new age of enlightened spirituality. The age-old dream of peace between people is not a dream, but entirely within our grasp. We need only correct our thoughts to see the universe for what it is and know the waters in which we swim. It is time to put the demon behind us and let our angelic nature reveal itself in its true beauty and goodness. We deserve it. We're all better than we know. Ultimately, the truth will prevail, and whatever it may be. If this theory is correct, then people ultimately recognize the truth, and the message will spread around the world. In this technological age, that could happen quickly. But if this theory is false, it deserves an even quicker death. Just as the truth will come out in the end, so will the falsehood, though the error has taken a very, very long time. My plan is to start a movement that will help humanity ascend to a new level of maturity, and it could be starting right here. Has anyone seen The Life of Pi? This was the story of a young man named Pi and his fantastic voyage sharing a lifeboat with a tiger after his family and ship were lost at sea. He had many challenges and beautiful experiences over the journey that were simply incredible, much like our lives. When he and the tiger beached after nearly a year on the lifeboat, they parted company. The point of the story was not the journey, however. At the beginning, the narrator warned the audience that if they heard the story out, they would believe in God. When Pi was later interviewed by the ship's insurance cover to understand what had happened, the two investigators would not accept his amazing story as true. There was no tiger, only Pi's word, and no way to prove what happened. They asked him for the real story. They wanted the truth. Pi obligingly told a completely different story of hardship, murder, mayhem, as ugly and brutal as the first story was beautiful. The crux of the movie was to put the investigators in a dilemma of deciding which story was true. The storyteller of the movie then posed this question: which story do you believe? There is no final proof for anything. There is always an uncertainty. I won't tell you which story the investigators choose because I detest the spoiler. But they were faced with a choice of realities. It came down to what the investigators wished to believe, one of beauty and wonder or of ugly brutality. The narrator's last words was, "And so it is with God." So it is with all our beliefs. I'm asking you to think these ideas through, to see how they work for you in your life. If you can, get a book. And if you can't afford it, we have a borrowing library. I'm asking you to decide which reality is more beautiful, loving, and makes better sense of your experience, which frees you to a better life. Do you wish to fear or celebrate the unknown and all the beauty it hides? Which truth serves you best? Whether we realize it or not, we're all philosophers seeking truth on life's journey. You are what you believe. It's always wise to think things through with the head, but it's wiser to choose with the heart. Only your heart can decide what you will believe. Only you can decide which reality you wish to experience. Thank you for hearing me out. Namaste. Thank you.
Did you have another song?
I do. If we have time.
Yes, we do.
This is called The Spark. I was sitting on my couch one day and I said, Sherry, I'm going to write a song. And I said, what should I call it? And she said, The Spark. And so, here it is. This is what I sat down and came up with this. Ten down, one to go. Been down this road before. Still I'm on my way. Taking time to think it through. Still not sure what I'm gonna do. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new way. Hope for tomorrow. Trust in the Spirit. Live the life of your dreams. Let the passion come alive and feel the spark of divine deep inside. Jumping down the rabbit hole, don't know where it's gonna go. Still I'm on my way. Round and round and round it goes. Where it stops nobody knows. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new way. Oh, hope for tomorrow. Trust in the Spirit. Live the life of your dreams. Let the passion come alive and feel the spark of divine. Let my come inside, find what hides God's Spirit. Let my eyes open wide and see we're all one in you. Three blind mice, watch them run. They can't see but they feel the sun. And they found their way. Life is more than meets the eye. We're all blind yet seek the light, and we'll find our way. It's a brand new day. Oh, hope for tomorrow. Trust in the Spirit. Live the life of your dreams. Let the passion come alive and feel the spark of divine grow inside. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. We will have you back, of course, for part 2 or part 3 or part.
Thank you.
You've done this before up here, haven't you? Haven't
No.
you? You haven't.
No.
You've talked other places about it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you had a
I
workshop.
had a workshop here, and I spoke at the Parliament of World Religions. And
Okay, I thought I'd seen your picture up there before. So thank you so much for coming tonight, and this is our time where we have our love offering. And we know that as we keep everything in circulation, it comes back to us, and we keep everything in motion. And in gratitude for the ability to have this event tonight, and let us say our offering blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Reverend Rick Mercer played this song for me at us at the men's group on Saturday, and so it touched me. I mean, this is a song that I felt like I wrote and forgot. So I'm going to give it a try. I'm likely to blow big chunks on this, but you all have to forgive me because you're spiritual people. Just remember that. When I was a boy each week, on Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. He would read the Holy Word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. I remember feeling sad, miracles don't happen still, but now I can't keep my track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick, that there isn't anything at all. So the challenging things become not to look for miracles, but to find where there isn't one. Holy water was rare at best. It barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down. But I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy, holy now. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come and say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven second-rate hand-me-down. But I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy. Isn't that beautiful? That was written by Peter Mayer.
Oh, let's give it one more round. And let's stand and join hands or elbows if you're working on the, I've decided it's called the boomerang germ because